Good afternoon. Together with West Fargo Commissioner President Bernie Dardis and Cass County Commissioner Chairman Chad Peterson, I will be signing an emergency declaration in anticipation of the 2020 spring flood for Fargo Metro. The City of Fargo is in danger of suffering a substantial flood event, and thereby claim that the state of emergency exists in the city. This emergency declaration authorizes agencies of local, state, and federal agencies to take action to limit hardships on this pending emergency upon the citizens of Fargo. Using an emergency declaration allows local government to manage resources, funding, and other conditions that are normally budgeted or anticipated. The emergency declarations provide departments and agencies the ability to initiate appropriate actions to manage and recover potential impacts of spring flooding. The Fargo City Commission heard detailed reports and proposed plan for administrators, engineers, and emergency managers early this week. Today, I am concurring with the recommendations of our experts and directing city staff to prepare for a 39-foot flood event. This year, I'm proud to report that the city and county will be working together in a unified manner to produce sandbags at Fargo Sandbag Central. This will help to maximize efficiencies and unified volunteer efforts. Together, we'll be working together to produce 400,000 sandbags. Fargo Sandbag Central will open Tuesday, March 10th, and will continue operations through Friday, March 13th. Operating for 12 hours a day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., we will produce 100,000 bags a day. That will mean we will need full shifts and volunteers, and we think with the combined efforts of the three elements here, the county and the two cities, that we should be able to meet that goal. If you want to volunteer for the flood fight, go to fargond.gov/floodvolunteers, and you can see when we need your help and when it fits your schedule. We have already talked to the schools, which will oftentimes staff the earlier shifts, and the businesses, as I talked to Tom today, if they can help do the later shifts. We have made tremendous strides in our permanent flood protection efforts, but this is a serious flood forecast, and we will meet it with a serious response. Our soils are saturated to levels we've never seen before, and we need to be prepared. It is important for everybody to know that we will need a public's assistance, and we cannot be complacent this spring. I turn to Bernie Dardis to make a few comments, and then Chad Peterson will make the comments.
Thank you, Mayor. West Fargo stands here with two of our partners, the Cass County Commission and the City of Fargo, to be willing participants in helping with any and all resources that we can commit to. West Fargo has been meeting with emergency services, our chairman, Pierre Freeman, engineering, Dustin Scott, along with the police and fire department. So I want to assure that the residents of West Fargo that we too have been in an early phase of organizational meetings and those types of things, depending upon what Mother Nature throws at us. I want to assure the people of West Fargo that we do have flood protection from overland flooding with our diversion that is in place. But I also want to caution the residents of West Fargo, as the Cheyenne River comes and meanders from the south and comes through a good portion of our city south of I-94, we have to have them diligent and watchful of the riverbanks and potential ice jams and those types of things. So again, once again, the City of West Fargo, we will commit and participate all of the resources that we have, both in manpower, equipment, whatever we can do to assist Cass County and Chairman Peterson here, and of course Mayor Mahoney here. So we stand ready to fight this as a regional issue that we deal with on a yearly basis, it seems. We too are very concerned about the moisture conditions that we have out there. We had a lot of water in our diversion channels again this year, like we did last year, although the ice thicknesses are not near as comparable. So that makes us feel good. Ashtabula is now dropping 200 CFS as of last week versus the 400, and you can visually see how the ice has dropped. So there's that potential that once the thaw starts, the ice is going to be moving in the channels. So again, I would caution those residents that live along the Cheyenne River in the City of West Fargo, mostly south of I-94, because we will be shutting the gates. Our diversion will be totally operational as it's designed to function. But for those residents south, I would ask your diligence and your of watching the river conditions. So, thank you.
Mayors, thank you much. As they said, the combined efforts of the cities and the county, this is the way to do this. It's the most efficient, it's most effective. It gets the number of people we need in one spot where we don't have any logistical issues. One thing I'm going to touch on is something I touched on prior, at our prior meetings during the flood last year. Oftentimes, we forget this is more than just sandbags. We can talk about it. We need it, that's no doubt. But there's a human impact here as well. And I think that's just as important, if not more so, than the needed sandbags. North Dakotans are a hardy bunch. I'm North Fargo, prestigious North Fargo born and bred. We have 2,000 to 3,000 people that come here every year. There's a lot who've never experienced a flood. Last year was the closest thing they had. There's still people that have come here in the last year that have never experienced a flood. And the thing I want to impress upon people is this. We are hardy. We stick our nose to the grindstone. We move on to the next problem once this problem is solved. It's okay to ask for help. Whether it's from law enforcement, social services, whatever programming that's available to you, don't be me sometimes, the hardy North Dakotan that's afraid to ask for help. Ask for help when you need it. We're there. That's why the sheriff's departments exist. That's why West Fargo PD exists. We're here to help you. We have planners and engineers. We're going to be safe as we have in the past. Sooner or later, the diversion's going to get built, and we'll never have to worry about something like this until it gets to a 500-year level. But for now, we sandbag again. We'll all be there. Mayor has vests for us here to wear that will all be donning sooner or later. Again, we're going to be safe. Things will be taken care of. But the most important part to me is, if you need help, ask. This is why we exist. Thank you.
So now we're going to stand over here and sign proclamations, and I don't know if you know this, but one amongst us is a grave digger, so he will know how to throw sand and put it in sandbags. But Bernie Dardis in his early years was a grave digger, so I think he'll be a great sandbag filler.
Thank you, Mayor.
We want to see Bernie, if you do it like Trump, you can do that big thing.
I do.
Okay.
He's got a seal on his.
Are you ready?
Absolutely.
He does do it like Trump.
I'm telling you. Good job, Mayors.
Very good.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Any questions?
Sandbag Central was last year? Oh,
Yes.
all right, thanks. Okay, it will be. And then just to make
Maybe I
sure,
can tell you the address.
thanks.
Yeah, you got to think now, that's it. Solid waste. It's solid waste.
All right, solid waste. All right, and
Solid
then,
waste.
and then what were the hours again? It will be open from March 10th to March 13th from 7?
7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay. And then has there been any improvements on the flood forecast so far?
Today it went down a half a foot, so we're pleased about that. The probabilistic for 10% dropped a half a foot. And so far we've had a beautiful spring, so we're just hoping it stays that way.
Perfect. I think I'm good for now. Thank you.
But Chad, I mean, you may have some challenges in the county.
Yeah, that's sort of as last year, the rural areas are always a mystery. It sounds so cheesy, right? But every flood is different, and this year's difference is going to be the moisture content in the existing soil, and that's unprecedented. I think we're top 10 in the history of North Dakota, and that impact is what's going to be the most cumbersome in my mind. Again, we've had a perfect, almost spring. Couldn't ask for any better. Low precipitation, temperatures that thaw and then freeze. But we've still got a good month left of this, and we'll have to see what the mystery of the soil moisture content is going to be.
You're just going to put you on mic, Pat.
Are any of the almost 400,000 sandbags remaining from last year still usable, or are they frozen and therefore not
We have
usable?
approximately 200,000 left, and then we'll use them as reserve. Ability for them is we have to unthaw them, so that takes some time. It's easier if we have fresh sandbags because they will set up better when you have to put them in the yard.
One thing that we should also mention is that, you know, all three of the entities, our communications departments will be working very closely together. So if there's any changes or any needs, more demand for volunteers, all of that type, Cass County and the City of Fargo and the West Fargo will all be communicating. We've already reached out to our public school systems They have a great resource for manpower. 7th and 8th graders and high school kids love to get out of class, and they think it's a big adventure. As a matter of fact, they were greatly disappointed last year that they didn't have to place any sandbags. So rest assured that there'll be a lot of communication coming forward from the engineering departments and communications, and keeping the public totally and completely aware of what the situation is on a day-to-day basis as we get closer to the event.
Besides helping with sandbags, is there anything else that community members can do to help with the fight against potential flooding?
Sometimes Blue Cross, the Red Cross comes out, does sandwiches, so Red Cross volunteers help. There's some volunteers we need on site sometimes to help out with registration and placing people in different areas. So if they reach out to First Link can help assign them to those activities.
Again, to my comments about West Fargo, it's very, very important that all those folks south of I-94 that live along the Cheyenne River continue to be diligent in their monitoring as to, ice jams and those types of things. And I would suggest that for the Red River too, that, anytime that you have a river lot and you're observing anything that looks a little bit out of the ordinary, it might create some issues, please communicate with us.
And that's important as well for the rural areas where, as the mayor's just said too, it's the eyes and ears of the public. They need to keep us informed as best they can, whether it's during a blizzard or whatever natural occurrence we have to deal with. The eyes and ears are incredibly important for those people that are out in the neighborhoods, in the rural areas as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions, members of the media?
I think that Commissioner Peterson made one of the best points of today in our brief talk, and that is we have many residents in the county, in the city of Fargo, and the city of West Fargo that have not experienced a flood, that don't have a total comprehension of what we could be facing should the melt not go in our favor, should a lot of moisture show up. So to those folks, we would ask you to be particularly diligent in following the media and listening to all of the things that public officials are sharing with them, because I think it's important. One of the things I dealt with personally last year was a number of folks that lived next to the diversion channel that were brand new homeowners, and their anxiety level had to be tremendous within their household and within their neighborhoods, because they didn't understand how the system works, how the engineering is designed to work. And so we'd ask all those relatively new people to our community that have not experienced this, like many of us have for 40 plus years, to be engaged and make yourself aware of what we're dealing with. The folks standing behind us, the engineers that have been involved in this for years, both from the county, the cities, they've done a marvelous job. The safety of our citizens is first and foremost, and they have designs that work, and they work very well year after year after year, unfortunately. But we'd ask those people, and I think Commissioner Peterson's point about that is a very, very relevant part of this, that if you've not experienced it before, please keep informed. Thank you.